back in 1969, due to a combination of a lot of factors and some drugs, I had a experience that wasn't too healthy. And what happened to me was that in the process of about, I'd say about 30 to 60 days, I lost about 50 pounds. And what happened was that the drugs triggered off some unconscious, buried stuff in my life that hadn't been dealt with, that was repressed and pushed under. And I was a 21-year-old man who was going through a terrible crisis psychologically, didn't have enough money to go back to school, so I was totally isolated from my age group and the environment that I grew up in. All right? So I was going through a combination of feeling isolated, alone, scared, paranoid, terrified, because I would hear these urges and voices, for example, in my head, and they weren't very positive and very loving, at all. They were more anger than anything. And the Catholic priest that I went to, and I was raised Catholic, was having his own crisis with the Catholic Church. My doctor wanted to give me some drugs to help me feel better, and I said, no more, not now, anything but that. So I was feeling totally alone for the first time in my life. And if you've ever had that feeling of aloneness like you have after a divorce or something like that, you know how ugly that can feel in terms of your own sense of security and identity. It's terrifying. And I was, like I said, a young man. I didn't have a lot of intelligence. I hadn't lived long enough, hadn't experienced enough. But what happened to me was quite profound and quite beautiful to me. I got to a point of committing suicide, of wanting to die. And I basically, the week before this situation occurred, I decided to go up into my parents' bedroom and get the Catholic Bible out. Because I would do anything at that time to keep the voices out of my head off my mind. Okay? And I opened this thing up and I started to read through the Psalms. And of course, I was Catholic all my life up to that point. And I just related immediately to the pain that was in those Psalms. And it made me feel good, but not better. Okay? So basically, after about a week of that, and having lost all that weight, and being absolutely, totally trying to run ahead of this pain, I got to a point to where I felt so tired I wanted to die. I just wanted to stop, literally. And somewhere in the process of that emotion and that feeling and that horror of that entire thing, I just kind of uttered a prayer like, God, if you're real, I need you now. And I no sooner got that thought out of my mind than it was like somebody took those electrodes the paramedics use and just hit me right on the chest with them. I felt this wave of energy rush through me that was beyond anything I'd ever experienced, with a combination of peace and love that just flowed through me and washed me. I could see light off the top of my body radiating from my head to my toe. I'm crying like a baby, totally crying, thinking to myself, and I'm actually in a sense cussing, about damn time.